next to you.
In the pursuit of finding budget televisions, I know you guys are probably taking a look at this TV right here. This is the new Samsung QLED Q7F. Now this TV can be mistaken for being a replacement for the Q70D from last year or even the Q70C from the year before. But I'm here to tell you that this is more of a budget model, and this is why. The Q70 series from the previous generations were 120 Hz, and this TV is 60 Hz with 120 Hz motion rate. But one thing they did change about this TV, it has AI technology. And this technology has a new processor that's going to be able to give you different things on demand on screen that we didn't have before. On this video, we're going to get out of the box. I'm going to do some gaming, and I'm going to show people how to set it up if you're a new user. And later on, we'll come out with a full review. That being said, let's get started. Now, one thing about this TV is that it is available in multiple sizes. You can buy this TV in a 43-inch all the way up to a 85-inch, so you have plenty of choices, so it'll work in most people's application. Now, keep in mind, Samsung is one of the most sold televisions in the United States, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be great for someone who's looking for a basic model. It comes with these plastic feet, which are well built, but it reminds me of the same feet that comes on the 7200 model. It also comes with this goodie package, as my friend B, the installer, says, and that includes the power cord, some basic instructions, and the remote control. Now on this remote control, you have this new AI button, voice commands, navigation, home, as well as the volume, channel, and there's some hotkeys at the bottom. This remote control also has the solar panel now, so it can charge with the USB right here on the bottom of it. And being that it's a 55-inch, I think one person should be able to handle it just fine to get out of the box. The feet are very easy to install. There we go. And take note, on the bottom there's a base port. It looks like some oval speakers. And then over here by the Samsung logo, there's a little press button right there to pretty much change the inputs and get through some of the basic settings right there. Now taking a look at the back of this TV, it's got more of that plastic design. Down here is the feet, and the great thing is that you can raise the television up or down according to where you put it, and it has the inside slot, so you can literally put it on a smaller table, which is great. You also find some screw holes so you can easily mount it on the wall. And this is where you're going to plug the power cord in, and over here we have one USB, 3 HDMIs, Ethernet connection, and a TV tuner. They started this trend a couple years ago on some of these models. This one doesn't have a fiber optic output. It doesn't have a RCA output, so you will have to rely on HDMI eARC to be able to get audio from this, but you can use Bluetooth, but sometimes there's a little delay whenever doing that. Later on in the video, I will show you how to set this up as a new user, but the first thing we need to do is go ahead and pull off this screen protector so we can start turning everything on. On most Samsung TVs, you're going to see a little plastic tab. If it doesn't have that, chances are you might not have a protector on it. No matter how many TVs I unbox, this is always a satisfaction part of the video. So now we have the TV all out of the box and I have it all set up. Let me show you some of the basic picture samples before we get to the full review. And I can say that this TV is going to have an average picture on it. If you're a Samsung fan, you definitely want to get into their higher end series. But if you're looking for something more of a budget television, this one will work fine, but it's not going to have all the technology that some of the other televisions do have for the same price. This TV does have AI features in it, but I think it's something for the future because when you press the AI button on the remote control, it's not available for a lot of functionalities. And according to what I'm seeing, this feature is only going to be used on certain content such as Samsung TV Plus, where you can see the actors as well as films they played in, so you can go watch more movies based off of that particular actor. Now I do assume in the future they will grow this technology, but for right now I just feel that it's very limited. Next, let's talk about some of the gaming options available in this Samsung television. If you press and hold the play pause on the remote control, you will get the new game bar, and as you can see, it has a pretty nice look to it. As we go around here, you have your aiming point on the television, and you can choose red or green. You also have a screen aspect ratio, a map zoom, and then over here we have Game Motion Plus. You can change your speaker settings, and at the bottom of it, you can see that it will show the input lag as well as the frames, HDR, and variable refresh rate. If we click on the more settings, you do have the different gaming options, aiming point, and a few other options in here such as HDR gaming, and you can also have the gaming bar to launch automatically whenever the TV goes into gaming mode. Inside of PlayStation, the interesting thing is says that VRR is not supported on this TV, HDR is supported, and it will support up to 60 frames per second. But we'll dive a little bit deeper into this when we get into the Xbox. Now here's the thing. As far as 1440p, this TV does not support it, but you do get auto low latency and it is HDR compatible. So now we switched over to the Xbox and you can see it does support 4K, 1080p, 720p. Under TV details, it will support 4K up to 60 frames per second. And keep in mind, Samsungs do not support Dolby Vision, but it does support HDR10. And then we go into video modes. You can see that it does support auto low latency. And as I said earlier, this TV does not support variable refresh rate. And just so you know, I did go into the Xbox settings and try to override the settings, see if we can get 120 Hertz out of the 60 Hertz panel. That was a no-go. It didn't work.
That's a high ledge. Try double jumping by pressing the button while jumping. More monsters!
For 60 Hertz gaming, I think the TV did a really good job. And if you want to really get the best, you want to go to a 120 Hertz television. They're going to cost you a little bit more money, but you're going to get higher performance. Plus, you get the HDMI 2.1 inputs. Now, for all you new users, I want to kind of get you set up and get you ready to go. Some things that you're going to need is Wi-Fi connection or plug the TV directly in with Ethernet. You're also going to need to create a Samsung account if you want to access the applications. And additional to that, you want to go ahead and plug everything in, including your antenna, so the TV will go ahead and set everything up with CEC so the remote control can control your devices. When you first get this TV, it might be a little confusing because you don't have the options you had on the previous operating system. But if you press right on the remote control, you then get this welcome screen and then you can manually program it. But if you do have the Samsung Smart Things application, it's much easier just to scan that QR code that first appears on the television. Now let's get started. Now I do have a switcher connected to this television with some other devices on it, so we'll go ahead next on that. And if you have a TV antenna, you want to go ahead and plug that in as well if you can get signal in your area. But the first thing I'm going to do is connect this to my Wi-Fi so I can start getting everything ready to go. After the TV is connected to Wi-Fi, you're going to get terms and conditions. You can skip this, but I'm telling you right now, it will ask for it later. For demo purposes, I'll go ahead and agree to everything. Now, when this TV is connected to the internet, you will have access to plenty of applications. We can then start the setup. To access those applications, you will need to have a Samsung account connected to the television. I have one, so I'll go ahead and scan in the QR code and go to the next step. But again, you won't have access to apps unless you do this feature. So now I'm signed in, you can see it's connected to my demo account. We can then press on next. One thing about Samsung TVs, which is nice, is that you can back up everything on your television to a cloud, or you can hit skip at the top. And if you buy this TV at a later date, you will be asked to update the software if a new version comes out. Now, this is where you can save your settings and you can check these boxes off. And the great thing again is you can restore it from another TV. So if I click on here, this is a list of TVs that I reviewed over the years that I can restore this TV back to if I needed to. Now, as far as voice commands, you do have an option of Bixby or Amazon Alexa, but you will need to log into your Amazon account to get access to that. I'll go ahead and just choose Bixby because it's already built in. And keep in mind, there was a skip at the top. Now, if you use any of these apps, you can check on them, and what the TV will do is download them for you as soon as it gets ready to set up. That is an option. If you don't have those apps, don't worry about it. And this screen just shows you how you can customize it. And if you do use these 3 apps, you can install them as well. Now, personally, I don't like this feature, but now you have to enter a PIN number. I will use a series of 1, so it's easy for me to remember later. But again, you'll have to enter that to get to the next screen. Next, you want to enter your zip code. I'll just make up one here real quick, and then we can continue the TV setup. And typically, that screen is designed so you can basically get local channels on your television with the Samsung TV Plus. Once that is done, it's gonna just basically give you a splash screen with some cool animations, kind of let you know that your TV is getting ready to start using. So here's the operating system. At the top of it, you can choose and add different profiles. So if your children needs a profile, you can make them a Samsung account and put it right there. You can search for different applications. and it has a new feature that wasn't on the previous generation called Art, or it just wasn't located here. And Art allows you to use Samsung Art Store, and this is basically going to give you like some type of screensaver when you're not using your television. Next, we have Daily Plus, and inside of here, you're going to see where you can connect it to the Smart Things application. And this TV will allow you to control different devices like your Hue system if you have lights in your house. There's some other things in here you can connect. You can also use it with different workspaces like Microsoft and a few other ones. You can track your Samsung Health. And there's a couple of videos down here for these different type of connections. And down here at the bottom, you can see you can connect to a Windows computer. You can send your screen over to it from a Mac, and you have multiple controls. And this will allow you to hook up a keyboard and mouse to the TV because it does have a web browser. And if you have the Samsung DeX, you can connect it. But you see there's a lot of different services built into this television. Next, we have the gaming hub. And one thing about Samsung TVs is that they do support Xbox. So if you have an Xbox account, and you pay for the premium service, you can hook up a controller to the television and play games directly with the cloud. And plus there's a few other ones in here, and down here at the bottom is just some titles that you can select directly from the television. And if you have Amazon, they have Luna. So you can see it's going to be a fun TV to have for gaming, or just having something that you can connect to your Xbox if you already have one. The last few things here is, here's your home screen. And again, that's where your applications are. And just keep in mind, you will not see the apps unless you use your Samsung account. And there's plenty of other applications in here as well. Now, I did make a full video on how to use this operating system. As far as if you guys are interested, I'll see if I can leave that in the link below. But as you can see here, there's plenty of apps inside of this television. So you will have plenty of fun with it. Connected device just shows you everything that's connected to it. And you can set up the remote control like a universal remote. You have Samsung TV Plus that's going to give you some content that you can watch streaming. Of course, the internet needs to be connected. And then we have settings where you can control the picture, the sound, devices connected to it. There's also supports down here at the bottom. You do have individual controls for your sound, TV output, your brightness, Bluetooth. And if you go here, there's different screens like game mode. This TV also has multi-view, and this allows you to use a smart view from a Samsung phone, a PC, or camera all at the same time. And of course, you have your sleep timer and some of the other settings that this TV has to offer, all built into this one little hub. Another thing I want to show you inside of the settings of the applications is that this TV has 2.3 gigabytes of used space, but only 1.5 gigabytes of available memory. So what that means is that in some cases, you might have to use an external streaming device to get more storage, because if you plan on downloading a lot of applications, you could run out. But I will tell you that Samsung does have very efficient apps, so you're not going to take up too much memory whenever you use that. Also, this TV has built-in internet, and if you notice below, some of these applications, you can reinstall them, but you can't dismiss them. But maybe there's some kind of kickback where Samsung will not let you uninstall it. My first impressions on this TV so far is that it's just a basic Samsung TV. So if you're looking for something that's not very expensive, but you like the Samsung brand, I think it'll be fine. But keep in mind, this TV doesn't have local dimming zones. It doesn't have 120 hertz. The remote control is kind of basic, and the design on it's pretty basic. But for the colors I've seen on it so far, I think it looks pretty good. Might be the television you're looking for. Now, I will come out the full review. I've already filmed a lot of it where I'm showing the motion and some colors and the dirty screen effects and all that stuff. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.